friend, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Back at it again. I'm back and better than ever. Guys, I really want to thank you. Your support is so massive and amazing. I am so grateful. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe to my channel. It helps with the growth of this channel. And if you're new here, my name is Bridget Mashonganyika, aka Bella, orphaned at 3 months old, grew up in the orphanage and now advocating for the orphans and also telling my story. So if you like what I'm about, please press the notification bell so that the next time I post, you'll be notified. Also leave your comments. I would really love to know what you think about this channel, and also I would really love to read your comments. Also subscribe to my channel. It helps with the growth of this channel. So what are we doing today? So today I'm going to tell you about me having to go to a boarding school while I'm coming from the orphanage. Me having to go to a boarding school while I'm coming from the orphanage, my experience and everything. So stay tuned. So firstly, I'm just going to tell you about my first day. So my first day wasn't cool. It wasn't awesome. Well, just a background check. I collected my grade 7 results a bit late, and also, I started applying for a place also a bit late, and I got a place also a bit late. I mean, when you delay just one thing, everything else delays. So I didn't go for orientation, and also I went to school a bit late as well. So, I didn't know much about the school. So I got to school, and then I was led to the dormitory that I was supposed to stay in. And I got into the dormitory, and I wanted the restroom so badly. I really needed the restroom. And now I don't know about the school. So I got into the dormitory, and there was another door. And I thought that was the restroom. I went there, I opened the door, and there were actually 2 beds, and there was a girl was even lying on the other bed. I'm like, what is happening here? I just closed the door, and when I closed the door and then I started walking, and then the girl opened the door, and then she's like, what were you looking for, guys? I was so shy. I mean, naturally I'm a very shy person. So now I'm thinking, I'm like, oh God, what am I going to tell this person? I thought there was a restroom. So later on I tell her, I'm like, I thought that was the restroom. They laughed at me, guys. They really laughed at me. And then she then asked another lady who was in the dormitory that I was in to accompany me to the restrooms, and then she showed me, and I helped myself. Then I went back, I made my bed and everything else. So later on I then asked the girl, I'm like, why isn't there 2 beds in there, and then actually only 2 people are staying in there? And then she's like, those are box rooms, the rooms for prefects. I'm like, oh God, and I thought that was the restroom. It wasn't cool. So I went to the classrooms. Every other student is just looking at me. I'm like, what's happening? And I'm like, okay, fine. And then lunchtime comes, and then we go to the dining hall. And then I got there, and it was on a Tuesday. And every Tuesday at my school, when I was in Form 1. Guys, imagine cooking magulu pachikoro pane vanhu vakawandisa. It really was not nice, and they were not even clean at all. And I got there, I'm like, God, what is this? I felt like crying. I was already missing home. And thinking, I'm like, I can't really eat this. So I just got out, and I went back to the classrooms, and then also supper comes, and I went to the dining hall, and then only to find because sadza name vegetables. Boarding school vegetables, guys. If you have been, to a boarding school, how they're like. I'm like, oh God, what's happening here? I cried. I'm a crybaby. I cried. I'm like, why did they take me here? I wanted to go back home so badly. But as time went by, I got used to it, and ndanga ndakutomhanyira kudhinzo zvekutodaro, and also things improved at my school, and yeah, but the first day was not awesome at all. It wasn't awesome. So now telling other students that I'm coming from the orphanage, I mean, everyone would really love to know, Kuti, where is this person coming from? So I was forced to tell. And I've always wanted to be very authentic and upfront with my background. I never wanted to lie about it. So it wasn't really difficult for me to say that I was coming from the orphanage. It really wasn't difficult. So I told people freely, and I told them the truth. I'm coming from the orphanage. Where's the orphanage? It's very local in Toko here. And I'm like, oh, alright, cool. But seriously, to be honest, I really didn't like the response. I didn't really like Kuti. People were feeling sad and very sorry for me. I didn't like that. Well, it's very natural, I understand, but I was not expecting that. That was the first. I mean, I had never experienced that before. So now people feeling sorry for me really, it really was not cool. It wasn't cool. I mean, I don't actually. I just don't like it when people feel sorry for me, when people feel sad for me. I really don't like it. It makes me feel weak, and makes me feel like I'm burdened or something like that. So I really didn't like it. And once you tell someone that I'm from the orphanage, they want to know also what happened to your parents. So I always knew that was the next question to come. So when I then tell them, you know what, both my parents died, they'll be like, oh, I'm sorry. I'm like, why is this happening? So as time went by, I really didn't like to talk much about where I was coming from, but I was always honest. And yeah, I was good. I was always good with telling where I was coming from, and I'm pretty sure that other students were even talking about it. Like, that newcomer, she's from the orphanage. Oh, and then they'll be it really was not something that I really wanted. It really was not something that I liked. And I know that it's very natural. I mean, it's very natural, but to me, I didn't feel good about it. I didn't. So now let's get to talk about how I interacted with other students. Honestly, it wasn't cool. And I would really blame it on me. I was coming from a primary school that wasn't as good. I was bullied, and when I got to boarding school, I felt the need for me to protect myself. And guys, I was not cool with other students. I wasn't, I felt the need to protect myself even when there was no harm. And my first day also made it worse because there was this girl who was a bit mean to me, and she said something that was a bit mean, and everyone else laughed when we were in the dormitory. So I felt like, nah, I needed to protect myself. I can't go through what I went through when I was in the primary school. So from Form 1 to 3, I wasn't a good person. I turned to be this person, a monster, actually. I would put it that way. Maybe not, it wasn't that loud, but I was just not cool. I was very mean to other students. Even some were even trying to be very nice to me, but I was just pushing them away. I was just pushing everyone away. But as time went by, I improved. I started letting people in, and actually found the beauty of being nice to people. So interacting with other students, well, at first it wasn't cool, and I would really blame it on me. People tried to be nice, they really tried, but I was pushing them away. So I think I would give them credit. Other students were very nice to me. So I tried to be a good student. I tried, but I think it's in my it's in my nature to just rebel when I don't feel like when I feel like I'm not treated fairly. I rebel. So I think maybe this, let's blame it on my zodiac sign. I'm Virgo, and when something does not sit well with me, I'm gonna say it, and I'm just gonna attack. I'm just gonna be stubborn. That stubborn side of me, I'm just gonna show it, because I don't want to be treated like, I'm not human. Well, I'll give you an example. When I was in Form 1, in boarding schools, mostly actually in most schools, Form 1s do almost everything, if not everything. So now we're preparing for visiting day, and we were just being told, you have to do this. I'm in work. You have to go and work there. It was now too much, and I got tired. I went to the dormitory. I slept, and some other students came, and then they were calling me, and they're like, the head girl said that you have to sweep the roadway, the pathway. You had to sweep, like we had to sweep the pathway, and then I'm like, why? And then to myself, I thought, okay, this is because I'm in Form 1, so I have to do all the work. I'm like, nah, I'm not gonna do that. I went back to sleep. And then they came back again. They're like, Bella, you have to wake up. The head girl wants everyone to be there. And then I'm like, you know what? I'm not going, and I'm not doing anything. I've done enough, and that's it for today. So, I told them to go back to the head girl and tell her that, you know what? I'm good for today. I'm done. So now, I didn't really think that they were going to tell her. I just wanted them, away. But, they weren't, and then they told the head girl, and they came back, and then they're like, the head girl wants you, and she said that if you don't come here, and when she comes to your dormitory, it's gonna be worse. So I just got up. I didn't even go there with shoes. I just left the dormitory, and then I went to her. I was prepared to tell her that, you know what, I've done enough. I was prepared. But when I got there, the atmosphere was tense. She really wanted to punish me, and, I'm looking at things. I think maybe that's the sneaky part. Yeah, I'm looking at things. I'm like, you know what, maybe I don't have to tell her that, you know what, I don't want to do it directly. Maybe I should do it indirectly. So I got there, and then she's like, so you're the one who's refusing to come and do the work with other students? And I'm like, nah, I was actually sleeping, and you see, I don't even have my shoes here. I don't even have my shoes here. I just got up. I'm actually still in, that, I'm actually still feeling sleepy. I just didn't know that other students were working. And then she's like, so they're lying. And then I'm like, yeah, they're lying. And then she's like, where are you from? And then I said, well, like, where do you stay? I'm like, I'm from the orphanage. Guys, she probably thought that these students were lying, and they just wanted to treat me badly because I'm from the orphanage. I'm an orphan. And then she's like, okay, so you guys are lying. I'm going to make you do more. And then this girl here is no longer doing anything. And then she took me to her dormitory, and then she gave me shoes and maputi, and what's up next? And what's up next? And she's like, go back to sleep. Guys, I was so happy. I'm like, oh. But you know what? Let's not blame it on me. Let's blame it on my zodiac sign. I'm a good person. I'm a good person, but I'm going to blame it. I'm Virgo. Sometimes I can be sneaky. I can be rebellious and all that. So yeah, it happened. It is what it is. It wasn't my fault. So yeah, guys. My attitude as a student beside being stubborn and all. I think I was a good student. I was a good student, but as time went by, yeah. Now let's get to talk about my self-esteem. When I got to school, my self-esteem was not really that affected. Well, in primary school, it was affected a bit because I was bullied. But now, when I got to the boarding school, it got worse. Guys, I think how can I even put it? Seriously, this did not happen because I was an orphan. Nah. People were okay with me being an orphan, coming from the orphanage. Really, people were cool with that. But I think this is just natural, but it's also not good. You know, People get to compare each other. This one is not beautiful. This one is ugly. You understand. It's natural. It happens everywhere we go. We cannot really stop it. But then it's really not a good thing. So when I got there, I wasn't beautiful. I wasn't. And sometimes I could even hear other students talking about it, like, oh, we're talking about this guy, and then they even up to form 6, and this I'm actually saying it happened when I was in form 6. Other students are talking, and then they're like, we're talking to this guy, and then we were comparing the girls in the class, and then they were starting the names of beautiful girls, and this was there, and my name was not there. And really, in the orphanage, I was always told that I was beautiful. Even my name, Bella, I got it because they thought that I was beautiful. Now I go to the boarding school and I'm told that I'm not beautiful. Seriously, my self-esteem went from here to here. But also, I think I wouldn't blame people as well. Well, I would blame them to some extent, but to some extent I would blame myself because I also was not, smart. I was dirty. I was dirty, and I was too forward, and now that I think of it, but at that time I really didn't think about it. I just thought that people were being mean, and they were just comparing other students. This one is beautiful, this one is not. And also the other thing is, when I was informed to Chulokwedu were being screened according to our grades. So if your grades are good, you go into the sciences class. If they are average, you go into the arts. And then maybe if you're not really a good student, then you go into a commercial class. So I got to be in a last class. Yeah, I think form 1, form 2 I was not really studying, so I was taken into the last class, and that also affected me a bit because I always thought that I was intelligent because from primary I was very smart. I didn't really have to study, so I thought maybe it's the same, but nah, it wasn't in high school. So now I'm in the last class. People, when when some other students are making noise, everyone will say commercials. Anything bad that happens, people would say commercial class. They were a special class. So that also affected my self-esteem, but not that much. I mean, look at me now. I wouldn't be here if it really affected me that much. Well, I always accepted who I am, and I work around what's there. So I really don't get to let people determine who I should be or how I should act and all that. So I think I'm beautiful now. I think I'm beautiful, and I think I'm smart. I think I'm intelligent, and it really didn't really, well, it affected me to some extent, but as I grew older, form 4, form 5, form 6, seriously, I was okay with people, talking about whatever they want to talk, and also I was okay with other people's opinions. That's what they thought about me. I never really cared. So yeah, my self-esteem at some point was affected. But as time went by, now I told myself, I looked back when I was in the orphanage, I'm thinking, you know what, it's really nothing. I'm very beautiful, I'm still beautiful. If my mom Gorgin must still think that I'm good, I'm beautiful, I'm intelligent, then I'm good. Was I discriminated? No, I wasn't. My school was very good. Also, it being a Catholic school, you know, it was awesome. The students there were nice, and I was, everyone was okay with me being an orphan, coming from the orphanage. So it really wasn't bad. I was never discriminated. People accepted me, and also they were even very lovely towards me. And also, was it difficult for me to make friends? No, it wasn't. Well, with girls, it wasn't. But with guys, seriously, I hated boys when I was growing up. I hated men with the passion because I always blamed it on my dad that my mom had to die. I always thought that my dad, if my dad had not rejected me, then I thought maybe my mom would still alive. So it was something that was just in me that I just hated men. And there is also the other reason why I never dated in high school, because I hated men. Well, maybe at school people would say that it's because I wasn't beautiful and also that I was dirty and too forward. But yeah, the other reason I never dated, I never made guy friends when I was in Form 1 to Form 4. It's because I hated men. But when I then got to be in Form 5, Form 6, that's A level, I started trying to let them in, because now, I think I was now a bit matured. So I then started seeing it differently. So now that's when I opened up a bit, and my best friend turned out to be a guy friend. Well, I had two best friends in high school, a girl and a boy. So I think I improved on that, and now I'm good with, men around me. It's not my story. My mother's story is not my story. So I always believe that I'll find good guys who will be very good to me and also very loving. So now I'm very open up. I'm very open about it. So yeah, I think overall my experience in boarding school coming from the orphanage was perfect. No one discriminated me. If anything, I mean, if like everything that happened to me that was bad in the high school, it also maybe happened to any other student, despite the fact you could see they are coming from the orphanage or what. Now, seriously, if I was told that I'm not beautiful, another student was also told that they're not beautiful, and it wasn't because I was coming from the orphanage. It wasn't. No one ever used that as an excuse to treat me badly. Nah, no one ever used that. And I always had someone who was always there for me. Even the fathers always had my back. Father Mberi, Father Mashamombe, Father Ngwenya, Mwale, and all, they're always there for me. So I think seriously, overall, my experience was very perfect. And I think it's always good to be authentic and upfront about your background. I think actually, this coming video, I think I should talk more on that, because it's very easy for people to accept you when you accept yourself. So next video, I'm going to talk more on being authentic and upfront about your background. So I think this is the end of the video. If you have been here since the beginning to the end, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to my channel and also share the link. Also press the notification bell so that the next time I post you'll be notified. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you are subscribed, thank you so much. Thank you so much. So bye.